Hello designers and welcome back to the Fusion 360 Explained by a Kid course. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at planes, how to use them and what types there are. But first, let's remember what are planes. Planes are basically these little yellow squares where we can place our sketches or use them as an axis. Now, sometimes when you're designing, these aren't the only places where you want to place your sketch. Maybe you will need a plane that it is in a diagonal way so that when you extrude your sketch, it extrudes in a diagonal way. That is where the types of planes come. Now, luckily for you, I have created a document with examples for each one of them. So let's start seeing them one by one. First up, we have the offset plane. Now, this type of plane allows us to create a plane with a certain offset from any face we want to. What does this mean? That it will start either on top of a face or below a face, and we can define how many millimeters from that face we will want to. To create it, go to Construct and click on Offset Plane. Now, it will ask us for a plane. We want this new plane offset to start off. Now, you can choose any plane we want to or any face of an object we want to. In this case, I will use this face of the object I have created. Then it will ask us for a distance. So we can drag the arrow up or down depending on the amount of distance we want the offset to be. In this case, I will choose 40. Then I will click on OK to finish the plane, and as you guys can see, the plane has been created on an offset from this face of 40 millimeters. Now, next up, we have a plane at an angle. This one allows us to create a plane with a certain degree of rotation. This way, when we sketch on it and then extrude it, for example, it will extrude in that same angle. To create it, go to Construct and click on Plane at an Angle. Then it will ask us for a line where we want this plane to be placed. It can be any edge of any object we want to. In this case, I will choose this one. Then, as you guys can see, we can start rotating this plane the amount of degrees we want to. For example, -40 to match this face right here. So now if we click on OK, as you guys can see, this plane has been done at a 40-degree angle. So now if we create a two-dimensional sketch of a square selecting this plane, so let's say a square like this one, and then extrude it, as you guys can see, the extrude has been done in a diagonal way. That is why this tool can be so useful. Now, next up, we have the tangent plane. But first, you may have realized that now a folder has been created. This folder shows every plane we have created, so we can hide them so that we have an easier view. Then I will also have the body right here. Perfect. And now we can continue with the examples. Now, the tangent plane, as the name on itself says, allows you to create a tangent plane from a circular object. It can be a cone, a cylinder, like in this case, but any round object, and only round objects. Now, to create it, again go to Construct and click on Tangent Plane in this case. Now it will ask us the face that we want this plane to be tangent from. As you guys can see, I cannot choose this one, for example, because it isn't round, but I can choose this one right here. So I'll click it, and as you guys can see, we can define the amount of degrees we want this plane to start. Now I have hide the constructions, let me show you again. There we go. That is why a warning pop-ups. Now as you guys can see, this plane is now tangent to this cylinder. Now we can choose the amount of degrees we want in it, and that will define exactly the place where it will be placed. Now in this case I will choose -90 degrees. So now if I click on OK, as you guys can see, this plane is tangent to this face. Now we also have another type of tangent plane, and that is the plane tangent to a face at point. Now this one allows us not only to create a plane that is tangent to a face, but also at the same time to a certain point. So again, to create it, go to construct and click on plane tangent to a face at point. Clicking at that, you guys can see it will ask us for a face, so in this case this one, and a point that in this case I will choose, for example, this one. So now, as you guys can see, this plane right here pops up, that it is tangent to this point and to this face. That is why we can't rotate it like the other. Click on OK to finish, and as you guys can see, it has been created. Perfect. Now next up we have the mid plane. But now again, let's hide these new planes. So I'll go to here and I'll hide them. Then I'll also hide this body. Now basically what the mid plane does is that it creates a plane that it is exactly in the middle of any shape we want to. So to create it, go to construct and click on mid plane. Then it will ask us in between which planes, meaning the faces of the object, we want this plane to be created. So in this case we can choose this one and this one. And as you guys can see, the plane has been placed exactly in the middle between this one and this one. Now this can also happen between two shapes, like this example, for example this face and this face, or even between two faces at an angle, so maybe this one and this one. Again, it searched for the mid plane between these two faces, and then in this case they're at an angle, the plane will also be at an angle. Click on OK to finish the plane, and as you guys can see, the plane has been created. Now next up we also have the plane that goes through two edges. So in this case we will ask for two lines, meaning any edge of the shapes we want to, for example this line and this line. And as you guys can see, the plane will go through these two edges. It doesn't matter which edges we select. So let's say we change that one to that one. Again, the plane will find a way to go through these two edges in the quickest way possible. We can also choose from another shape like these ones. And yeah, there's a lot of cases where this tool can be really handy. In this case, I will choose this one and this one, why not? That one. Then I will click on OK to finish it, and as you guys can see, this plane goes through the two edges I have selected. Now we can also do it with 3 points now. So to do it, go to construct and click on plane through 3 points. Now this plane will allow us the planes to go through 3 vertices if we want to. I guess everyone knows what vertices are, basically these things right there in any shape. So let's say we choose this vertex, this one and this one. Now as you guys can see, the plane goes through these 2 points and this point. Pretty cool, right? Now click on OK to finish it, and as you guys can see, the plane has been created where it goes through this point and this point, which are the ones we selected. Now next up we have the plane along path. Again, let's hide the ones we created. Now this one basically allows us to create a plane that goes through any path we want to. This can be really useful when using the sweep tool, that is the one I taught you before, where you need a profile that follows a path. So to create it, go to construct and click on plane along path. Now then it will ask us to choose the path, in this case this sketch I made right here. And as you guys can see, we can choose in which part of the path we want the plane to be placed. by using this arrow right here. See? So in this case I will choose this place, for example. Then I will click on OK to finish it, and as you guys can see, this plane is sort of perpendicular in a way to this path right here. It basically goes through the path, just like the name says it. And well, designers, that is all for today. If you enjoy, please remember to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment them down below. Next video is the last video of the course, so I hope I will see you there. Goodbye, designers!